When we talk about qualifying prospects, what we are talking about here is improving our ability to figure out, is this deal for real? In other words, is the prospect that we're talking to serious about buying our product or service? And the reason why this is so important and helpful to try to figure out is because the time we have to work with is our most valuable resource. There are only so many hours in the day and days in the week that we have available to sell our product. And so if a prospect is expressing interest in what we sell and they want a demonstration or they want to have a meeting or they want us to put together a proposal, if we spend our valuable time on that sales activity for a prospect that has a low probability of actually going through and purchasing from us, we increase the odds of wasting that valuable time. And the main tool that we have to figure out how good or bad a prospect is simply asking good questions to gather and learn more information about the prospects that we're talking to. But the qualifying process that I'm going to show you will actually help you to measure how strong or weak the prospect is in 4 different areas. We're going to look at how much does the prospect need to purchase the product that we are trying to sell. You can certainly find yourself talking to prospects that are very interested in the product or service that you sell. But to qualify a prospect and to understand if the deal is for real, we want to understand, does the prospect need our product or do they want to purchase our product? For example, if you sold cars, you might have a prospect in the showroom looking at the latest model and very interested in all the new features, but does the prospect need to purchase a new vehicle or do they just want to have the latest model? If you ask questions to learn more about the prospect, you can have a better idea if it is more of a want or need. For example, if the prospect has a vehicle that is only 1 year old and is running just fine, that is a prospect that wants the latest model, but they don't truly need to purchase a new vehicle. On the other extreme, if you have a prospect who currently drives a very old vehicle that is not running very well, that is a prospect that is closer to needing to purchase a new vehicle. And it's not to say that you cannot sell your product to a prospect who has more of a want than need, but knowing where the prospect is between the two can help you to qualify the prospect and know how serious they are in terms of purchasing the product that you're trying to sell. We can also qualify the prospect to identify how strong or weak the prospect is in the area of being able to purchase what you have to sell. Again, if you're trying to sell a car and that prospect is currently unemployed and does not have the money or funding available to purchase your product, that prospect is weak in the area of being able to purchase the product that you sell. We also can ask questions to measure how strong or weak the prospect is in the area of having the authority to purchase what you sell. If you're trying to sell a car to a prospect and they need to purchase a new vehicle and they have a job and good level of income and are able to purchase the product that you sell, they might appear to be a fully qualified prospect, but when you ask questions about the decision-making process and who ultimately makes the decision, you might learn that it's actually their spouse who's not involved in the discussions at this point that is the person that says yes or no on big-ticket items. When you learn that, you will find out that the prospect is weak in the area of having the authority to purchase because the prospect that you're trying to sell to is not the ultimate decision maker and does not have decision making authority. A fourth area to measure prospects when we're trying to qualify is the area of, does the prospect have the true and genuine intent to purchase from you? You might find yourself talking to prospects who need to make a purchase, they have the money available, it's all been approved from a decision and authority standpoint, and they are going to make a purchase. But if that prospect is talking to many vendors or maybe leaning towards another vendor, then while they are a qualified prospect, they are weak in the area of intending to purchase from you. And an example of this could be trying to sell a car to someone who's done their research and ready to make a purchase, but they've spent all weekend at another dealership and they've just come out to talk to you to get a price comparison to make sure that they've negotiated good price with the dealership they've spent all weekend with. So it's fairly simple to see how strong or weak a prospect is in these four areas. All we have to do is ask different questions, and I'm actually going to give you questions that you can ask for each of these areas, starting with trying to figure out, does the prospect need or want the product that we have to sell? What motivated you to look at us today? Or if it's an inbound call, what motivated you to contact us? Or if you're a retail business, what brought you out to us today? Do you mind if I ask why you took time out of your busy schedule or your busy day to meet with us? What improvements could you see if you purchased our product? What will happen if you don't purchase our product? Or what will happen if you don't purchase something today? Is there a date when this purchase needs to be made by? What happens if the purchase is not made by that date? What is the time frame this project needs to work along? Now, there's a little bit of explanation on why these questions are being asked and how the prospect's answer might tell you if their interest is more of a need or want. And all of the questions I'm going to show you here today are explained in more detail in the book, The Smart Sales System. To figure out how strong or weak the prospect is in the area of being able to purchase from you in terms of having the money or the funding, what is the range that you need your budget to stay within? Is there a budget approved for this project? Have the funds been allocated to this purchase? What budget or department will this purchase be made under? Are there any other purchases that this funding might end up being used for? How does this project fit with other initiatives from a priority standpoint? And questions to figure out how strong or weak the prospect is in terms of having the authority and decision-making power to purchase the product you sell. What is the decision-making process? What parties will be involved in making the decision? What are the key factors that a decision will be based on? What functional areas or what departments will be impacted by this purchase? Is there a committee that this type of purchase has to go through? Who is the ultimate decision maker? Who is the person that will need to sign the contract or sign the agreement? And questions to figure out if the prospect has true and genuine intent to not necessarily purchase the product, but to purchase from you specifically. What other options are you considering? Or what other vendors are you talking to? Or what other products are you looking at? How far along are you in your discussions with them? How do you feel about the other options that are available to you? Or how do you feel about the other vendors you're talking to? What do you like about them? What do you not like about them? How do they compare with what we have to offer? Is there a reason why you would choose us over them? If you had to make a decision today, which way would you lean? And if you go through a process to ask questions like those, you're going to learn a lot more about the prospect and what's going on with them. And here I'll show you how to use and digest all that information that you're able to extract. If you learn that the prospect is strong in the area of truly needing the product or service that you sell, and if the prospect is strong in the area of being able to purchase in terms of having the money, having the authority and decision-making power, and intending to purchase from you, if they're strong in all of these areas, you can then conclude that the prospect that you're trying to sell to is a qualified lead. This means that this prospect has a very good or high chance of purchasing from you. But if the prospect is weak in only one area, then that prospect or that lead could be viewed as not being completely qualified or being a low quality lead or a prospect that has a low probability of purchasing from you. These are the types of prospects where everything might be going good and then you reach the end of the sales process and the prospect just goes silent on you and stops responding to your emails and your calls. And that's because because the prospect might truly not need what you sell or might not have enough money to purchase your product. So figuring out if the prospect is weak in one or more of these areas will not only provide valuable information and help you to protect your time, figuring out which area the prospect is weak in can actually provide clues for what you need to do next. For example, you might come across prospects that are strong in all areas except the area of truly needing to purchase what you sell. Maybe they love the latest product and all the latest features, but through your questioning, what you learn is that what they're using today is working okay. So when it comes time to actually spend the money and sign the contract, these are the prospects that tend to be difficult to close or maybe go silent at the last minute. And with no need or low need prospects, there's a few things you want to do. First, you want to protect your valuable time. You wouldn't want to spend all day on a Saturday afternoon taking a prospect on test drives when at the end of the day, they really don't need to purchase a new vehicle. These are the kind of prospects that you want to stay involved, answer their questions, be there, but maybe use automation tools to stay in contact with them and nurture them so when their want evolves to become more of a need, you can be fresh in their mind and be there and ready to re-engage. You might also come across prospects that are strong in all areas except having the ability to purchase what you sell. And with these prospects, there's also a few very clear things you want to do. First, you want to figure out if their budget and funding challenges are a short-term issue or a long-term issue. In other words, is it that their budget is just maxed out for this year and things will be different next year and in the next budgetary cycle? Or are you talking to a prospect that is possibly going to have long-term financial challenges and it's unclear if they will ever be able to buy what you sell? If it's a long-term issue and very uncertain, you want to protect your time and not spend hours demonstrating and presenting to this prospect. You might potentially want to walk away completely and not waste any of your time with this prospect. But if it's a short-term issue, and let's say that the funding and budget situation might be different in 6 or 12 months, well, you still might want to protect your time, but you also want to stay in contact with that prospect so that when things change and they either begin their budget planning for the next year or their budget opens up, you want to be there and you want to be fresh in their mind. And you might want to use automation tools like email automation to nurture that lead and stay in contact so that you can be there when they have the ability to purchase what you sell. You will definitely see prospects that are strong in all areas except the area of having the authority to purchase. In B2B sales, you might have a prospect that's a department manager and has a lot of decision-making authority, but when it comes down to actually authorizing the purchase of what you sell, signing the contract, signing the agreement, you might find out that it's actually their boss or their boss's boss who is actually the true and ultimate decision maker. And this is very helpful information to uncover because what you want to do is you want to identify who exactly the true and ultimate decision maker is. Some of the questions provided earlier in this video will help you to identify that. But once you know who that person is, you want to get them involved or at least aware of the discussions you're having with the prospect that you're working with. You don't necessarily need to replace your point of contact and make that person the true decision maker, but to make this a qualified lead and opportunity, you want the decision maker involved in some way or another. And an optimum scenario would be that they maybe become an executive sponsor of the initiative that you're working on. But if you can't get the decision maker involved, you definitely want to become more guarded with the time you spend with this prospect, and you might want to consider at some point potentially walking away. And the type of prospects that are easy to miss are prospects that are strong in all areas. They need what you sell. They have the money needed to make the purchase. They are the decision maker. But at the end of the day, they do not have the true intent to purchase from you. They've been talking to another company and you're getting involved late in the process, maybe just for a price comparison. Maybe you're receiving an unsolicited RFP that they're asking you to respond to. And this is very helpful to identify because there there are some key changes that you can make. First of all, with these prospects, you want to be very guarded of your time. You don't want to waste your valuable time dealing with a prospect that plans to purchase from your competition. If you're going to provide a proposal or a presentation or a demonstration, use templates, use recordings, use automation. With most prospects, you might be very reluctant and slow to discount your price. With these prospects, you want to jump as quickly as possible to the lowest possible price you can offer and throw it out there. And with these prospects, you might want to potentially just walk away and prevent yourself from wasting any time. So hopefully this qualifying process and measuring your prospects in these 4 areas helps you to make better decisions and improve how you manage your time and manage leads through your sales process. And that is pretty much it for this module. In the next module, we will talk about how to organize and optimize the appointments you have with your sales prospects. If you have questions or you want more information, the best place to go is salescriptor.com. Thanks for being here. Hope this was helpful, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.